Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I will be your reviewer for today. I am Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. And first of all, before I say what movie I'm going to be reviewing today, I just want to say to the other reviewers, if one of you guys or more of you guys have reviewed this before, and if I'm just redoing it, I apologize to any of you guys. That was none of my intention. I did look through the playlist and I didn't see this one, so I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it. And the movie I want to talk about today is from 2007. We have the Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez contribution, Grindhouse. And yeah, I really do enjoy this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I remember hearing on Fangoria.com way back when this was getting ready to come out that Tarantino and Rodriguez were working on a movie, and that, I thought what it was going to be was basically maybe like a 2 hour movie. And, maybe like Tarantino would do like a 45 minute movie, and Rodriguez might have done like a 45 minute movie and everything else. And then I had heard that they reached out that Robert Rodriguez did his, infamous, trailer for Machete, which is at the beginning of Planet Terror on here. And then they reached out to Rob Zombie and Edgar Wright and Eli Roth and got them to make fake trailers for this movie and stuff. And just everything. The more I heard about it, I knew I really wanted to see this when it came out in theaters. And I know this unfortunately didn't do well in theaters, but it kind of turned me on even more when I found out that no, Rodriguez and Tarantino, they went for it. They actually made two feature-length movies. They each made a feature-length film. And, the movie's like 90 minutes. Of course, if you buy them on the Blu-rays or the DVDs, which I have, but, they put out extended versions of each film, but, they were already pushing it, because this movie, was clocking in at over 3 hours. And because you're getting two movies for the price of one. And, unfortunately, yeah, this movie didn't do very well in theaters. And I think the idea was, had it done that, then there would have been more, and Rodriguez and Tarantino would have made more movies. They would have got more of their friends like Edgar Wright and Rob Zombie. Who knows? Any of their other, who knows? Maybe even Kevin Smith or somebody might have been, involved with this. But yeah, they both decided that Robert Rodriguez said he came up with the idea because he would go to Tarantino's home where he's basically got a theater, and where Tarantino, his film collection is like film prints. And he said, like he would go over to Tarantino's house, and Tarantino would do he would do like a double feature at night. He would put on like the double feature with the trailers and all this other kind of stuff. And, it was like being transported back to the time of the Grindhouse cinema and time of, drive-in theaters and things like that. And Rodriguez thought, hey, what if we did something like that? What if we got, a bit of a budget? And I think they both got like $2 million each to film their films. And he's like, what if we got a bit of a budget? I'll make a movie. Quentin can make a movie. And, then we'll put it out, and, we'll do it in this double feature style, and stuff like that. We'll get we'll get trailers. We'll get friends of ours to make trailers. And so they got Edgar Wright, who was a friend of theirs because of Shaun of the Dead and stuff. And they got him to do Don't, and which is awesome. That trailer is fantastic. A lot of people shit on Rob Zombie's trailer, Werewolf Women of the SS, but I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with that one. I think it's funny, and it's just 2.5 minutes, and and then Eli Roth did Thanksgiving, which to this day people are still pleading with Eli Roth to make a full length film. But yeah, but like Werewolf Women of the SS, it's clear that Rob Zombie, he really got the tone of what Grindhouse was supposed to be, and and he was thinking about, well, what kind of movies did they have back in like the days of the Grindhouse cinema? Well, you had like the horror films and kung fu movies and spaghetti westerns and all this, and then you thought, what about those German exploitation movies like Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS and stuff like that, and SS Hellcamp, movies like that and all that stuff. And so he decided, well, I'll do something like that. But the thing I thought was funny was he added the whole, idea of werewolves, being people being turned into werewolves, for the Nazis and things like that. I thought it was silly, but it was fun, and stuff, and campy. And then, the Thanksgiving trailer is so much fun and everything else. And then, of course, you got the two movies. You got, first up, you got Planet Terror by Robert Rodriguez. And he all the time, he kept stating over and over again what his inspirations were. Primarily John Carpenter films. The Howling, or not the Howling, the Howling. Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, Halloween, The Thing, movies like that. He also, he thought back to like, the Fulci zombie movies like Zombie and City of the Living Dead, and, the Beyond movies like that and stuff. And so, he made it, he made his movie, which is, a full out zombie gore flick and everything else. And then you got Tarantino who decided he was going to do basically what he calls a slasher flick. And I know like some people probably would, yeah, I think some people probably would have like really disagree with Tarantino on this one. And here's the thing, like the two movies that are here, Planet Terror, it hooks you right in. It's a great movie. It's fun. It has a lot of great action. It has a lot of fun, inventive scenes. I mean, the idea of, the idea of Rose McGowan getting the machine gun leg. I mean, that kind of recalls to how fun and inventive it was that, Bruce Campbell got the chainsaw for a hand in Evil Dead 2 and stuff like that. And, just so much gore, so much fun special effects, Bruce Willis showing up and all this stuff. And, really, Planet Terror was the thrill ride. That was the one that you really went to see this for and, just were entertained and had a good time. Now, Death Proof follows that up. And I think Death Proof was really what kind of, if anything, kind of hurt this movie a little bit. It was Death Proof because, in a way, I mean, we know that Tarantino is more, about, he's more about, dialogue-driven movies and character-driven movies and stuff. But just the fact that, he keeps coming into the, like you just got out of Planet Terror, you're watching, then you watch the fake trailers that start into Death Proof, and, and then it's like the movie, and even though it's kind of hard to watch it here at 90 minutes, it's even almost, in my opinion, it's even more almost unwatchable in the 2-hour format, because what ends up happening is like, even though it's described as like a slasher movie, and you could definitely see, yeah, Tarantino's got, elements of like, you can see kind of like the stalking, like Kurt Russell stalking, he playing stuntman Mike, he's stalking the girls, and you can see a little bit of Halloween in there. You can see a little bit of like, De Palma Dressed to Kill in there and stuff like that. But, really it's like when the first hour of the movie, it's just these girls talking and talking and talking, and they're just talking about boys, and they're talking about getting weed, and they're talking about where they're going to go for drinks, and they're talking about just and it just goes on and on and on, and and everything else. And that's for a slasher movie, you're kind of like, you really don't want a movie to take that long to get started. And it's almost an hour into the movie when Kurt Russell finally shows his crazy side and everything else. And then he goes and, kills the girls, hitting him with his car and stuff like that. And then we realize, okay, that, yeah, it is a slasher movie, and that, the weapon of choice where, like Freddy Krueger had the gloves, Jason the machete, Michael Myers, the butcher knife, Leatherface the chainsaw, Stuntman Mike, his murder weapon of choice is, a souped up sports stunt car, and stuff. And that's how he kills his victims, hitting them with this car. So, then you got that. Then you got the scene that obviously, that Tarantino took from both, De Palma, which De Palma took from Hitchcock, from Psycho, where you got Michael Parks and his son James Parks. They're playing, Michael Parks playing the late Michael Parks, unfortunately, but playing Earl McGraw, playing, and James Parks playing his son, and, they're basically doing the dialogue scene from like Psycho and Dress to Kill, where, they're discussing like why the killer is doing what he's doing, the motivation and stuff like that, kind of given the, the how comes and everything else. and we realize, that he's saying that, yeah, I think that the reason he kills these girls with his car is because, it's a sexual thing for him, and I think that's the only way he can get off is by hitting these women with his car and stuff. And so, some time passes, stuntman Mike gets away with it, and then he's in, I think it's Lebanon, Tennessee, and then there's a whole new group of girls. You got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, you got Rosario Dawson, Zoe Bell, and all this stuff. And these are girls that are working on a movie, and they start being stalked by stuntman Mike and everything else. And then it's like, even though I know the dialogue is meant to kind of set up later in the movie, but here we go. We just went through an hour of talking, and then something, horrific and scary and stuff happened. Now we got to sit through another hour of talking, just talking about, just girl talk and talking about, driving cars, and, Zoe Bell wants to go drive this car and everything else. And then there's this really long, drawn out argument between Zoe Bell and the one girl about, we said we ain't never going to do this again. Yeah, I said that, but how, no, whatever with your however and all this, so on and so on and so on. And it's just, like another, and then, finally you get into the really good stuff where, stuntman Mike, tries to attack the girls, and he fails, but then the girls decide they're not done with him yet. And so they go after him. And, so yeah, I mean, just, I really do enjoy Grindhouse. It is a fun watch. And this, honestly, this right here, I'm just telling you this little bit of information. This right here was the number one reason I switched to Blu-ray in the first place, because I remember that supposedly we were going to get a 3D. This was before I bought Blu-ray, and I thought I'm just going to stick with DVD. I really don't want to buy all my stuff over again. This was the tipping point. This was it, because that was the thing. They put the two movies out on DVD, but they didn't put the trailers out, and it wasn't, the way it should be. And we had heard that there was going to be this version on a 3 DVD set. I think it had been released overseas, but it didn't come to America. And then basically it's all like, well, if you want Grindhouse, this here, the Blu-ray, this is the only way you're going to get it. So this was the one. This is the movie that made me say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start upgrading, Blu-ray and everything else. But like I said, I do enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. Robert Rodriguez's movie is a blast. It's gory, it's fun, it's action packed, got great characters in it, great dialogue. Robert Rodriguez, really tries to take inspiration from John Carpenter, even in the music that he chooses to do and everything else. And so I mean, Planet Terror is just, it's an absolute thrill to sit through, and the fake trailers are fantastic, and you had, Machete and Thanksgiving, Werewolf Women of the SS, and Don't, and then they even had the original trailer, which ended up being the selling point for the movie Hobo with a Shotgun. That was in here. And but it's just, to me, unfortunately, the Tarantino movie, which I reviewed on my channel, but the Tarantino movie just kind of was where the whole thing just kind of fell apart. And like I said, it was just, what was supposed to be like a slasher movie and stuff. It just went on for way too long, and it was just so much dialogue. And I mean, I know that, you go to see a Quentin Tarantino movie, you're expected to see that, but just kind of like, I know that Tarantino kind of really wanted to do more like an older fashioned kind of slow burn slasher movie and stuff like that. But just, to me, it's like, Death Proof was a little bit too much of a slog to get through. And, it finally picks up, something interesting happens. Then you got to sit through another hour of just interminable dialogue, and then something cool will happen again and stuff. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, I totally, I mean, still, Grindhouse is a lot of fun to watch. And unfortunately, it really is sad that it didn't take off. It would have been great if this could have turned into a series, if they could have done more movies. Like, and hell, they would have got, like Tarantino, Rodriguez would have got more of their filmmaking friends in. I mean, I know like they're friends with Kevin Smith. And see, here's the thing, like, they could have gotten Kevin Smith on here too, because we know Kevin Smith mostly is a comedy director, but Kevin Smith has dabbled in horror, with Tusk and Red State and, Holidays and, Yoga Hosers and stuff. And, so it's like, Kevin Smith he easily could have made a horror film, made a Grindhouse film out of it. But for me personally, I think, especially after watching Zach and Miri make a porno, I really think that Kevin Smith would have done great at doing a sexploitation movie, like a sexploitation comedy or something like that. It's like, who better than Kevin Smith to do that? So, but yeah, just unfortunately this didn't pan out, and this is all we got. But still, hey, I'm proud of it. This was a blast watching this in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, that's going to pretty much do it. And I thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Um, if you do like the video, please like and subscribe on the Body Bags channel. We have a bunch of great guys doing great reviews, and it's a weekly show. Every day there's a different reviewer, and normally I'm your Saturday reviewer. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.